When you see those overlays, it's because I don't want you looking at me, looking at my phone, looking at you, looking at me. Hello and welcome to Asia Now. My name is Alex, and in this video I'll tell you about an American robbed and in the Philippines, vloggers summoned by the Philippines House of Representatives, will the Philippines start using nuclear power, exotic animals, and more, beginning with the USD to peso exchange rate. Right now, the US dollar equal to 58.6, a little bit of increase from yesterday. I wonder if this has anything to do with the tariffs. Here's our main story. An American national was during a robbery on Wednesday night in Trento, Agusan del Sur. The incident occurred around 9:45 p.m. in Purak 5, Barangay Pulang Lupa. The victim, identified as 56-year-old Ralph Eugene Manico, was a resident of Cottage Street, Boston, Massachusetts, USA. According to the initial investigation by the Trento Municipal Police Station, Manico had just arrived at the location with his live-in partner, Gerald Caesar. While retrieving something from the rear of the vehicle, an unidentified man suddenly appeared and him in the stomach without hesitation. The suspect then grabbed Manico's sling bag, which contained 50,000 pesos in cash, and quickly fled the scene on a motorcycle. Despite being rushed to the hospital, the victim was pronounced not alive on arrival. In an exclusive interview with BNFM Trento, Caesar stated that the suspect passed right beside him before attacking, and he never expected such a against his partner. Authorities are currently conducting a hot pursuit operation to capture the suspect. Manico's remains have been taken to a private funeral home in town. A tragic story, very sad to say. I also want to excuse all the sounds and cutoffs and noises because this video will be demonetized unless I do that because of the graphic content and the story of this. One thing to note, stuff like this is alarming for sure. And there's a lot that happens in the Philippines, in Cebu, all around the country, which I don't really discuss on this channel, mainly because of the nature of the topics, but there's a ton, right? So this one, I just feel like very obviously, it's very close to home, it's relatable, and important for us expats and tourists and foreigners to be aware of, so we can go ahead and maybe adjust our behavior, any kind of safety concerns, measures. Anything we can learn from such a tragedy is definitely beneficial. I think so. And I want to thank the two people that told me about this story yesterday in my Facebook and also in the comment section of the previous video, because during my feed, sometimes some of these stories don't come up. So if you guys have any stories, whether positive, mainly positive, I'm hoping something better than this, you guys can email me at talknowcanada@gmail.com as well. But yeah, a sad story. May he rest in peace, and condolences to his loved ones. Next up, the Philippine House Tri-Committee held a hearing on February 4th to discuss regulations on code of ethics for social media content, particularly regarding disinformation. However, many invited vloggers and content creators, some previously fact-checked or false claims, did not attend. In response, lawmakers issued show cause orders requiring them to explain their absence. Among those orders to justify the no-show were several social media personalities. Some of these individuals have been accused of spreading misinformation and being linked to offshore funding sources, which they denied. The hearing highlights concerns over the impact of disinformation in the Philippines, which has been described as a global hotspot for fake news. Lawmakers emphasized the need for policies to curb malicious online content while protecting free speech. There were also discussions on amending existing laws such as the Cybercrime Prevention Act to better regulate online information. In response, vloggers that were summoned turned to the Supreme Court to file a petition questioning their proceedings, which they say violates their rights of free speech. This is an interesting story because of several reasons. Number one, free speech, depending on where you're coming from, is very different, right? So in America and Canada, let me say the United States of America before somebody gets in the comment section. There's no country like America. Named America. Anyhow, so anywhere in North America, Europe, every single country I'm sure has different definition of free speech. There's free speech in many countries, but not freedom of consequence, right? So you can say probably whatever you want, but the consequences will vary. And this is important because a lot of YouTubers sometimes forget if they're living in the Philippines or whichever country, they feel they may have the right protection coming from YouTube's guidelines or their own country's laws and government, but they don't necessarily qualify for that if you're living in a specific country. The point is, you got to be very careful what you say. I know I'm in a spot like that too, right? So whatever I say, especially now, at the beginning, maybe I was a bit more too naive or whatever. Although I didn't say anything I think was necessarily bad, but that's not the point. Once again, it's not what I think, right? So it's important to keep that in mind, because freedom of speech always comes at a price. Just depends on how much that is. Next up, Southeast Asia's only nuclear power plant, built in Bataan 4 decades ago but never used, remains idle due to the past safety concerns. But now, the Philippines and other fast-growing Southeast Asian nations are reconsidering nuclear energy as a cleaner, more reliable power source. With new tech making reactors safer, smaller, and cheaper, could nuclear be the future energy in the region? Very interesting. Maybe you know, maybe you don't, but the Philippines, depending on the island, sometimes suffers from brownouts or blackouts. So the power grid definitely needs an upgrade, and I just don't think there's enough power coming into the country. I don't know nothing but nothing. Bomba clock. Well, wagwan, my youth. Chill. You know what's funny? That's not even my ringtone, bro. What is happening? That's just a random song on YouTube that my balls pressed on because the phone was down here. Excuse me, ladies, if you're watching. My apologies. My cojones are like gigantic, right? Anyhow, this is getting weird. This is about the news stories, not about me. Yeah, in case you don't know, I don't memorize these stories, right? There's like, I don't have a teleprompter. This is coming from my phone, right? So when you see those overlays, it's because I don't want you looking at me, looking at my phone, looking at you, looking at me, right? So anyways, let's get back to the real stuff, okay? Every show, every day, there's some weird shit that happens. So I'm hoping... A bird just flew into the window, man. What is going on today? So I'm hoping... I lost my train of thought. I'm just gonna go straight to the next story. Buddy, there's a band playing, there's dogs barking, there's somebody using a loudspeaker, birds flying into the window. Oh, what going on today, man? I don't know, but sometimes, you know, you gotta battle your environment to get through. And then authorities in Cebu City arrest 2 suspects for illegally selling and transporting protected wildlife. The National Bureau of Investigation conducted a sting operation after discovering a Facebook user advertising endangered animals. The suspects, Abel and Billy Dakay, were caught selling in Palawan Hill, Mina, Philippines, hawk, eagle, parrot, and other exotic species for 142,000 pesos. They lacked the necessary permits, leading to their arrest. 7 animals were rescued, including a python, iguana, and a sailfin lizard. The operation took place somewhere. I don't know what a sailfin lizard is or whatever, but I know those like water monitors that like remind me of those like big gigantic, what's it called? They look like dragons, the Komodo dragons, right? They got in Indonesia. The first time I saw one of those was right after an accident I had from the back of a motorcycle, and I went to the bridge to just like regroup for a second. And I had my, like, I looked down and there was this giant, like, lizard dragon thing coming, like, near my feet, man. Like, what's going on? I thought God was just trying to kill me that day. But long story short, those things look crazy, especially in Bangkok and those parks. If you guys have been to Thailand, you know what I'm talking about. They're creepy looking. If you've never seen one, they look like giant lizards. They look like alligator crocodiles. And if you're someone that comes in from the city, never seen something like that, it's definitely an experience. But going back to the story, whenever there's money to be made, of course, there's going to be people trying to exploit that. And these animals, like, you got to feel for them being, like, captured and put in cages, like, completely away from the environment, and who knows where they're going to go. Next up, on a very sad story, a Thai father sacrificed his life to save his 3 children from a fire at their home in the northern province of Lampang yesterday. The children informed police that they were using a computer when they noticed a spark from the device. The spark quickly turned into flames and thick black smoke, prompting them to escape. After bringing the fire under control, they found the father's body on the floor. Unfortunately, he passed away from smoke inhalation. Before we go on to our segment yesterday today, I just want to take a second to thank every single one of you guys for always watching these videos, commenting, subscribing, liking these videos, and I'm really proud of our community. I think we're growing into a very healthy and productive, I don't know if productive is the right word, but civil community, everybody sharing their thoughts. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. And I know there's a large portion of people that just simply watch, they take in the information that's good for them or not good for them, whatever they're interested in, and they don't necessarily comment. So even though you don't do that, I still appreciate you guys watching this. So thank you all for watching these videos regularly. Here's some of the top comments from our previous video. The top comments from Mark that said, did you know that many full-time YouTubers work considerably more than 40 hours a week and sometimes have no days off, planning, filming, editing, marketing, traveling, interacting with viewers, researching, analysis, and managing their social media on a daily. So hence, kind of ironic for a YouTuber to soapbox about governments not giving workers short enough work weeks. Yeah, no, it's funny, you're telling me, but no, believe me, I know. My work days are anywhere between 8 to 12 hours between both channels and everything you just mentioned. Now, the good thing about that, I'm going to make a whole video I was going to make on Sunday that just passed, but I'm going to save till I get back to the Philippines. I think I'll be much more comfortable in my environment before I make that video. But yeah, I agree. The thing is though, on YouTube, you're growing your own brand. You're doing something for yourself. Usually you like what you're doing. I enjoy these videos. Like, do I wish they were getting 10 times more views? Yeah, I would. But it's been 9 months and I'm still like plugging away at these videos. It's a lot of work, but I enjoy them. I enjoy talking to you guys. I enjoy providing a service. I don't want to just point a camera on my head and just start talking about the same dating stuff for like last 3 years, right? So nah, that's all cool, and it's got a place for that. But for me, this is much more. I think I don't want to pat myself on the back or whatever, but like I just feel like it's like a trade-off. You know what I mean? So it's not just for me; it's also a little bit for you guys who are watching this. It's a lot of work, I admit. And somebody says something about, yeah, they make about most YouTubers make about. Let me just read it. New African Forum says, I'm sure if YouTube is your main source of income, you make 100K after YouTube cut. I think you have to work more than 40 hours a week, bruh. I guarantee you, less than 1% of all YouTubers make 10,000 a year. YouTube is not as lucrative as some of you might think. And in a couple weeks, I'm going to tell you guys exactly how much money I make from YouTube. Anyway, let's read a couple more comments. Robert says, Bandcamp, LOL. Remember that movie? And Richard Nunez says, Alex, the drumming is Iberian? Siberian? Interesting to see that. I would fit in nicely. And that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, take a second out of your day. If you're new to the channel or haven't had a chance to subscribe, click that subscribe button. It does make a difference to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow with more news content. Bye.